Y'all don't give the same grace to his career that y'all have given to other players.
If he wanted continuity in coaching, he just should have stayed in Miami.
Well,
but he kept moving around, so he's the one who doesn't want continuity. That's crazy.
This is my thing. This is where they're not. You're being so
wanted Phil
disingenuous.
Jackson fired?
You're being so disingenuous.
You wanted Phil Jackson fired?
To Jerry Krause's credit, he's one of the greatest GMs to ever do it.
Yes.
He put together a phenomenal. He is. He's not.
Didn't get nearly as much credit. Just so you know, Marcus Gasol, the year that he won Defensive Player of the Year, do you know how many times he made the All-League Defensive Team before that? 0. You know how many times he made the All-League Defensive Team after that? 0.
I just feel like when it comes to Michael Jordan, we don't talk about his hardships enough.
Right.
Like we just don't. Like we act like his career started in the 90s.
Right now.
Let's talk about the hardships.
We're talking about right now.
If we start bringing up Jordan's hardships and LeBron's hardships, it's going to look bad.
But y'all,
There's no rhyme or reason why somebody like J.J. Barea and Jason Kidd should be able to defend him.
I can rewind the clock back to before Jordan became Air Jordan, when he had hair and they called him Air Jordan. When he was averaging 35 a game against the Detroit Pistons, he wasn't blamed for that series, however. Even though if LeBron James had done something like that, LeBron James, they would have said that he choked.
Draymond Green goes out publicly and says, they mentally had us. If KD doesn't show up to save us, we might be talking about LeBron in a different light.
No. Was Phil Jackson the best coach when Michael Jordan started winning? No. Okay then. So
with that being said, that unit being built around him, I've never seen a guy come into the game with that amount of hype, that amount of fanfare, that amount of pressure, and deliver, and continuously deliver without folding and just completely giving up. I've never seen that. And it took me a long time to come to this conclusion, but he's the best that I've ever seen.
All right, ready? Okay. The GOAT debate. Michael Jordan versus LeBron James.
So first and foremost, Jordan is obviously the GOAT. I don't even know why we're here. I don't know why we're here at all. Jordan's the GOAT because we're talking about somebody who is top 5 in multiple categories, especially at his position. Finished in his career top 3 in steals. Finished top 5 in points, even though he is moving down, but top 5 in multiple positions. So in statistical categories.
Thank God for Scottie Pippen, right?
For somebody who only played a handful of seasons, majority of which was accomplished as a Bull. So we're essentially talking about a 10 to 13 year career. So from a statistical standpoint. Also, even from a career average standpoint, basically averaging 35 and 5. Extremely efficient for an era that was predominantly dominated by big men. Extremely athletic, extremely skilled, one of the best passers at his position at that era in basketball, who was able to take advantage of mismatches way better than anybody else. Defensively, one of the best defensive guards at his position the league has ever seen, two-way impact, and was able to translate a lot of that production over into the postseason. This is not even talking about the post game, mid-range shooting, athleticism, finishing at the basket, a competent. Yeah, that was a quick minute.
It was a quick minute, though, but I got a quicker minute for you. So when you talk about revolutionizing the game, so before it was Doc and it was Jordan, and then James shows up and he revolutionized the game. We got this 6'9" guy, bigger, faster, stronger, does everything just as good, if not better, than guards. He can switch, he can play multiple positions. I've never seen a guy in the history of the game, as long as I've been watching the game, come into the game with that amount of fanfare, with that amount of hype, with that amount of pressure, and actually deliver. And I've also never seen a guy who failed like he did and came back better. And stayed on top for as long as he did. We're talking about a guy who averaged more than 25 a game for over 18 straight years. How many guys in the history of the game can say that they've done that? Nobody else can say that they've done that. He's at the top of the league, in the history of the league, in playoff points, which means when he was at his best, it was in the postseason. He's also failed, but he's also been at his best in the postseason. He's done it for a long time. He's done it for longer than most, which is why it makes him awesome.
The reason you haven't seen anyone come back from failure like LeBron James, because MJ didn't go through the failures that LeBron James did. MJ, from the moment he got into the league, the moment he was in the playoffs, was always producing at a high level. You never saw a playoff series where the Bulls lost and he was like, you know what, MJ, you're the reason your team didn't get this done. LeBron James, you can say that's true for multiple series. You look at the 2011 finals, for example. One of the worst series from a superstar in NBA history. But we don't need to get into that. Let's talk about the fact that Michael Jordan is the best scorer in NBA history from a production standpoint, from an eye test standpoint, one of the best mid-range shooters of all time, one of the best finishers at the rim of all time.
Imagine LeBron's stats if he would have had Scottie Pippen there.
Arguably the best athlete of all time as well. He was doing that while also being one of the best defenders in the league, especially at his position, leading the league in steals, winning a Defensive Player of the Year, and he's doing this in a 13-year stretch where LeBron James is pushing into year 21 and he still hasn't achieved a fraction of what Michael Jordan has. I don't need a whole minute, so J-Rob, there you go.
I just really love how you repeated what Lo said, just in a different way. My glorious king is definitely the goal of this basketball. Just because the expectations.
Yeah, I'm done.
You know what he said that on the internet.
He'll leave his chick for LeBron. He would.
Stop interrupting me. My minute is
Draymond.
Because my glorious king is crazy.
That's ridiculous.
just because the expectations that were put on him as an 18-year-old, I think everything he's accomplished in this league, he has. Stop interrupting me. My minute is here. I think LeBron James is done. He has the greatest ring in NBA history. He's completed hella side quests in the NBA, such as leading the league in assists. He's led in scoring. He's been all defense. He's won multiple MVPs. He's also the crown messenger. I know everybody gives credit to Jordan for winning with the Bulls, but to win a championship in 3 different locations is also an accomplishment in itself. I also feel like it took Jordan about 7 years to get to what LeBron did in 3. And, you know, he may have lost in that finals against Hall of Famers at a young age, but to be able to do that at 23 years old, that's a big deal. Right. This man has answered every single expectation. I think even now at 40 years old.
You said it took how long?
I hated everything you said.
You said it took how
7.
long? No, you said how long it took LeBron?
A whole lot of
3. He got drafted in
It took-
03.
it took him
He got
3
drafted in
He
03.
was in
took
year
him
4.
3 years.
He was in year 4.
So you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, 4.
All right.
03 to
So we
04,
established you just
And they didn't achieve
1
the
year.
same
The
thing.
difference of
They
1
didn't
year.
achieve
The
the
difference
same
of
thing.
1 year.
They didn't achieve
We're
the
going
same
to go
thing.
from the
They
difference
didn't
of 1
achieve-
year.
Mike actually won, whereas you're just saying they did the
My
same
guy
thing in
won
terms
4
of making
rings,
the
bro.
finals.
Yeah.
You understand
That's
that?
not the
You
same
understand
thing.
That's not the same
a team that had the best record in the regular season ever in the NBA had to go out their way to get Kevin Durant in order to beat one LeBron James.
Well,
even
yeah, the team was
it got to a point where this team that was the greatest regular season team ever, one of the star players on that team, Draymond Green, goes out publicly and says they mentally had us. If KD doesn't show up to save us, we might be talking about LeBron in a different light. I also think when it comes to LeBron James, y'all don't give the same grace to his career that y'all have given to other players. Like the way y'all say that, you know, Michael
We're not
Jordan,
talking about other players. We're talking about MJ.
MJ as well. He's one of those players.
You mentioned that too, Miles, because when you talk about improvement, I mean, this guy has improved every year. And when I say improved, I mean improved in every aspect of his game. He improved as a shooter. He improved as a ball handler. He improved as a defender. He improved his IQ. And all of those things, even at a young age, were far more advanced than even guys that came out of college that played for big-time college basketball coaches. And a guy that 22 years old taking a team to the NBA Finals, I mean, that hasn't happened since never with that Cleveland Cavaliers team. Nobody had done that in Cleveland since he had done that. So the expectation at that point is now championship or bust as long as he's here. And once he
And they didn't meet his expectations. right?
which would explain why he left. Which would explain
Because when
why
the going
he left.
gets tough.
Chill out over there.
It wouldn't be the going gets tough. It would be more that I think that the team that was built around him was not nearly as sufficient as the team that was built around Michael Jordan. I think that the team that was built around him, I think that they looked at him and said, we're getting to the NBA championship every year with this guy,
How long did
regardless
it
of
take
what
the
we put
Bulls to
around.
build that around Michael Jordan?
It took them 8 years.
Okay, 8
Yeah,
years, and LeBron left Cleveland after how many years?
He left after 7 years.
And what did LeBron do in year 8 then?
And year 8, what happened?
Well,
The biggest meltdown in NBA history.
That's
right?
completely different, and the reason why that's completely
I don't
different
think
is
it's
because
completely different. I don't know if it's completely.
Well, the reason why it's completely different is because, like you just said with Michael Jordan, it took him 8 years with continuity with the same guys. So he's on the same crew with John Paxson. He's on the same crew
Yeah,
with
he
Scottie
had
Pippen.
3 different
He's on the
coaches
same
and 3
crew with
different
Horace
guys.
Grant. He's on the same crew with Cliff Livingston. He's on the same crew with B.J. Armstrong. Meanwhile, LeBron James goes to Miami, and this is a totally new system. This is a totally new gig, and this is a testament to his greatness because you expect once he jumps onto that crew that it's just supposed to work out, not even establishing
Dwayne
roles.
Wade
Yeah,
and
with
Chris
him
Bosh,
picking
yes.
the team and the coach and the players.
And you don't get
Yes.
continuity arguments when LeBron's the one who actively left the team. He's
Thank
the
you.
reason there wasn't continuity.
If he
chose to
wanted
leave.
continuity,
I
he
can't.
just
I
would've-
can't say LeBron didn't have continuity when he's the reason there wasn't continuity. I'm not giving him that belt. That doesn't make sense.
If he wanted continuity in coaching, he just should have stayed in Miami.
Well-
but he kept moving around, so he's the one who doesn't want continuity. That's crazy.
Well, first of all, he does because if you look at continuity, like you just said in Miami, he didn't get to pick the coach. Eric Spoelstra was already there.
Yep.
In fact, Eric Spoelstra, he wanted him fired. So that's not true.
And Pat Riley wasn't going for it.
That's a great player. That's a great guy right there. Great goat right there.
Pat
Riley?
No, LeBron trying to get somebody fired.
Yeah,
Great goat, man.
He wanted. He had,
Great goat, man.
Well,
That's
the
a great
reason,
goat.
well, the reason why.
Does nobody act like Michael Jordan couldn't make a demand?
Absolutely.
And this is my thing. This is where they're not. You're being so
wanted Phil
disingenuous.
Jackson fired?
You're being so disingenuous.
You wanted Phil
I didn't
Jackson
say
fired?
Phil Jackson.
Krause fired.
But if he wanted that, he wanted that. He wanted his GM going.
Definitely wanted him
And
going.
as much as he wanted his GM going, to Jerry Krause's credit, he's one of the greatest GMs to ever do it.
Yes. Doesn't
He
get
put
nearly
together
as
a
much credit.
phenomenal. He is. He's not.
Didn't
He's
get
not.
nearly as much
Finish
credit.
what you gotta say.
Like, let's be real. Let's also take into consideration that I think ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, Michael Jordan had Phil Jackson.
Yep.
He played with a great coach in college. I think there was a lot of things around Michael Jordan that LeBron James did not have, and he had to just ultimately
He
adjust
chose
to.
not to have.
I ain't gonna lie, LeBron do get to play NBA franchise
To
mode.
Jerry Krause's credit, he's one of the
do
greatest
get
GMs to ever do it.
And he
He
makes
put
people
together a
revolve around
phenomenal-
him.
These are all his choices.
Eric Spoelstra's the best coach in the NBA,
and he chose not to stay there.
The lack of
Pat
continuity is
Riley-
the
Was
moment
Eric
Dwayne-
Spoelstra at the
the
time that
moment Dwayne
LeBron
Wade
left?
was
When
declining.
LeBron left Miami, was Eric Spoelstra when he left? No, I think he's the best coach in basketball now.
Okay.
I 100% agree with
And he
that.
was a
At
You
the
think at the
time,
time he was the best coach
He
in
was
basketball?
at worst third. He was at worst third.
We'll give you
With a top three.
Pop was
No,
the- Pop was the
no,
best
let's
coach in the
no.
league.
Was Phil Jackson the best coach when Michael Jordan started winning? No. Okay then. So that argument is also
It's not
pointless.
invalid.
But with that be, but
That argument is irrelevant.
It's relevant for both of us then.
No, but you're the
because
one who brought it
he-
up. You
he-
said he had Phil Jackson.
Jackson
Yeah,
is a legendary coach though.
Because
So
of what
was
he
Pat
did
Riley.
with
But
But why was
MJ
Phil
and
Jackson?
then
Why was
Kobe
Phil
and Shaq.
Jackson a legendary coach? Because he put a system around
Was he
the
a legendary?
triangle.
Was he a le-
The
that's
Eric
not his system.
Spoelstra
That's
house.
not his system. But was he a
That's not
legendary?
his system, but I said
Was he a
I
legendary
said
coach in
he didn't put
'91?
a system
Was he a
called the
legendary
triangle.
coach in
It
'91?
doesn't matter whose system it is. I said he put the system
So
around.
how many rings did Michael Jordan win with a legendary coach?
ultimately,
Ultimately.
Ultimately it's six.
Right.
But he wasn't legendary in '91 by Cho's admission. I'm asking
Okay,
you.
I agree. I can
So
agree
how
with
many? When did Phil Jackson become legendary?
I think
And-
after the 3-peat.
yes.
So just
After the
three?
first, after
So
the
just three.
3-peat, you kind of call him legendary. at
So
that
just
point.
3.
What do you mean?
Because after the 3P, he only won 3. So with Phil
half his
Jackson
rings are without a
can't-
legendary coach.
Yes.
Half of his
guess.
rings.
Half of Mike's rings are
Exactly.
without a
Okay,
legendary
I guess.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
Well, when you
Okay.
and
Interesting.
I think
Yeah,
that
I'm nitpicking, but okay.
that's fair. But
Yeah, I'm not mad at
I
that.
think we're missing the point of how that unit was built from everybody down. Remember, when Michael Jordan showed up there, the only guy that was on that unit that Jerry Krause did not have, he did not pick, was Jordan. Jerry Krause, Scottie Pippen, that's his guy. Horace Grant, that's his guy. John Paxson, who nobody wanted, that's his guy. Cliff Livingston, B.J. Armstrong, Bill Cartwright, trading for Bill Cartwright, which Jordan did not want. In fact, he really flipped out on Jerry Krause about that, which we actually roast guys today when guys get traded. Jordan did not want Bill Cartwright, and he wanted Charles Oakley on that
he
unit.
wanted Charles.
And in fact, it actually worked. So with that being said, that unit being built around him, and then on top of that, the next time when he came back, and I'm going to get to the next point. The next time when he came back to
Why are you
Chicago,
glazing these
with-
two so heavy over there, bro?
Damn,
You
Chill
gotta
was
get that-
carrying
Chill
you
was
guys.
carrying
Interrupt
you,
him.
Off your face, my bad. Go ahead, Chill.
Sorry.
Go ahead,
As
Chill.
I was saying, Mars.
Get a LeBron at this right now.
So as I was saying, when he came back to Chicago, him and Scottie Pippen, they're the only two dudes on the first championship team that was on the second championship team, and they win the NBA championship 3 straight years, not just on the strength of Jordan. That team was fantastic. And you mentioned him leaving Cleveland. There's a reason why he left Cleveland. He left Cleveland because it wasn't the way it was in Chicago. They weren't building that unit around him. I don't think he ever wanted to leave, which would explain why he went back to Cleveland. I think
Once
that
he knew he could get a superstar point guard in Kyrie.
I don't think it was a superstar
And Kevin
point guard
Love.
because remember too, Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, when James got them, these how many playoff appearances they had. They weren't doing anything. They were just a bunch of guys who put up a lot of good numbers on a bad team. They
By
weren't
your
doing
admission,
anything.
the Cavs weren't a great team, so they weren't building around Kyrie correctly as well, right?
They weren't building around.
So
him.
then why do you expect him to make the playoffs?
Well, the reason why they expected to make the playoffs because he did have a good player, a good young player that he saw on his team, in Kyrie Irving, a good young
he's
player.
saying
No,
Why-
how did
why
you
would you
Kyrie?
expect Kyrie?
Kyrie weren't going to make the playoffs because that's a trash organization in Cleveland,
Yeah.
right?
But, well,
same with the Timberwolves, another trash organization.
And the reason why him coming back is he feels like he's going to have more input, and with him having more input and a good young player in Kyrie Irving, and them drafting Tristan Thompson, maybe they are putting this thing together because this thing is a little bit different than what it was when the first time I was here, when they're passing up guys and they're passing up Amari Stoudemire and keeping J.J. Hickson. This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing while I'm here, and they just expect me to beat Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen and Rondo and Paul Pierce with Ben Wallace and not Dylan Dover. I'm sorry. Guys like that. They expect us
Mo
to.
Williams
They
and
expect us to win, and in the process of us doing that, when we lose, I'm the one on the hook for that. So you guys aren't serious about us winning. So I'm going to go somewhere where they are serious and recognize that. I do have some input in winning, but I also have to learn how to win too. And he did that when he was in Miami.
And I agree, but I think
Cooking you right
Yeah, you're doing nothing.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting carried, bro. I'm a role player. You know, sometimes, what did you say the other day, Ox? Sometimes you got to just know what your role is, you feel me? You know, right
Somebody got to rebound and play defense.
Yeah, exactly. That's
So
it.
you just
You ain't even rebounding. You just running the floor.
Yeah, that's it.
Focus, Mars. What
So
you
you got to do. Hey,
yeah,
even 20
So you doing what Bama did that day?
I like that.
Hey, and what I told
That
Ron,
was a great one.
you.
That was actually great.
As you were saying, Mars.
But yeah, I do agree that
My hoop shoes right there. Oh, it ain't even got to be no more tall. Those your shoes? Yeah, I thought those was Claire's. Wear a size down. Hey, yo, you stupid. They right there for you too. He mad at that.
but every other player is going through these ups and downs in their career. And they stayed. And we're crediting LeBron James for changing and winning.
As you were saying, Mars.
But yeah, I do agree that the Cleveland gave him more of an input and a say. But I'm saying we know the reason he went there is because a guy like Kyrie Irving was on the crew, and he made the call to see if Kevin Love would be down to join. That's why he went. If that's not the case, he's not going back to Cleveland. And the reason he left Miami is because we see Dwayne Wade declining. We see Chris Bosh. We're still playing at a high level, but he went out with blood clots ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
When Scottie Pippen was declining, especially in the second three-peat, Jordan could have left. They could have traded Scottie Pippen. They didn't. They stuck 10 toes. And he still got another three-peat. LeBron James leaves when he notices signs of stuff falling apart. And then we say it's not his fault that he loses, but every other player's gone through these ups and downs in their career, and they've stayed. And we're crediting LeBron James for changing and winning in different situations. But that's because he's leaving when his ultimate situation becomes not as beneficial as it is.
Because 98 was not a fantastic team, like by any stretch.
I don't think so. I agree with that.
Rodman was nowhere near the same. Pippen was literally out for half the season, and we got in the playoffs. He wasn't the
And
same.
he's playing with a bad back.
Playing with a bad back. What's his name? Ron Harper is not the same player either. And Jordan could have left at post 96 because he just signed.
By
for
Chill's
2
admission,
years.
he thinks that Jazz team should have beat the Bulls.
And yeah, I've heard you say that as well.
I did.
So
I
if
did have them beat.
if that
So
is
it's not
the
like
case,
it's just a cake.
But I wouldn't think that. Like, I would honestly, like, when it comes to, like, the finals, I wouldn't think that they would beat a team like the Jazz. I mean, I wouldn't think the Jazz would beat them just because I'm definitely...
Because they have Jordan.
Yeah, just because...
Exactly.
But it's the same way I look at LeBron, though.
Yeah, but
like,
guess what? They
No,
do
no,
beat
no, no.
LeBron.
We
But
have-
they
we
do
have-
beat
we have- we have-
we know, but we know
Six
what
times
happens.
they beat him.
Yeah, he's been
With
beat
Jordan, it's
before.
actually applicable.
LeBron.
But so
LeBron
is Jordan, though. Like,
no,
for
we're
example-
talking the finals. You just sat
Yeah.
there and said when it comes to Jordan, you don't expect him
You
to
don't
lose
think
in
a
the
team like the Jazz going to
finals.
beat them because
I
they
wasn't,
beat
I
Jordan.
didn't, so don't, I didn't say the finals. I'm saying in general because I think Jordan is a better player.
Yeah.
Okay, so the same thing is applicable to LeBron. You shouldn't think that nobody should beat LeBron,
But they do.
but they do though.
All the
I'm
time.
saying I'm just not surprised.
All
I'm
the
saying I'm not
time.
surprised. I'm saying I'm not
They beat
surprised.
him all the time.
All I was saying is I wasn't surprised that
They
they
beat
beat the
him
Jazz.
all the time, bro.
Well,
Hold on,
they
hold on.
beat him more than he won. Sure, I can get with that. Line.
All the
Hold on,
time.
chill, but also let's also put into context that I think the one thing about the Jordan era too that people don't talk about enough is y'all act like Jordan wasn't getting beat either. There was other dominant teams that are in Jordan's era. Now, don't get me wrong, Jordan phenomenal player.
What's his
But
era?
sometimes
Yeah, what do you
What is his
consider
era? What do you consider his era?
Because you have to say the 80s because the 90s.
I'm gonna say from the 80s to the 90s, like when he came into the league till now.
Oh,
his
so
era
from when he
playing
was a
basketball.
rookie, so
I'm
when
talking
he
about
When he
playing
was a
basketball.
rookie, that's his era.
I'm talking about his career. Jordan's
Okay,
era
so
sounds
his
like his
career.
career.
Or his
My bad, I
career.
shouldn't say era. His career. But all I'm saying is
Yeah,
people
Boston
were
is
dominant and
different.
people were winning on Jordan's watch. That's a fact. And sometimes I think y'all get lost into that 6 years. The 6 rings. Nobody talks about Jordan's taking time off. He come, go back, come, he go back. People have won in the 90s. The Rockets, they won 2. So I just feel like
One while
ultimately,
Jordan was there, but sure.
yeah, but I'm just saying, people also dominated during Jordan's era. Jordan just didn't just clear house, but them 3-peats were a big deal. I'm not gonna discredit that, but I think we act like the
Right.
2 3-peats
Right.
was the totality of the career.
Right.
And I just feel like when it comes to Michael Jordan, we don't talk about his hardships enough.
Right.
Like we just don't. Like we act like
You want us to talk
his
about it?
career
Let's
started in the
Talking
90s.
right now.
Let's talk about the
We're
hardships.
talking about right now.
If we start bringing up Jordan's hardships and LeBron's hardships, it's going to look bad.
But y'all,
Even if that's true, what I don't want to do is I don't want to get away from the point, and it's just about winning NBA championships because we already know who your GOAT is, and if we're just talking about winning NBA championships.
This is MJ. You want to get into real wrestling? Let's get into wrestling. We can get. Yeah.
So I don't want this to be relegated to just NBA championships. I mean, I want to talk about the player in LeBron James and how awesome he was and how much better he got over the course of his career, and the fact that this guy, we talk about him as a defensive player and making 6 all-league defensive teams in 5 straight.
That's it? Just 6?
Yeah, 6
Just
of
6?
them.
That's it?
And I'm
Only
glad-
6.
Yeah.
Jordan has 9, right?
Jordan does have 9, so I'm glad you brought that up.
15
So
years, that's 20 years.
when you think of and when you think about how the all-league defensive team is, it's comprised. It's about numbers, right? It's not just about numbers. It's also about the level that you're playing. I mean, LeBron James, he had a 6-time. I believe it was 5 times in 8 years. He finished in the top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year.
You said the same thing for Jordan, though, right?
I do can.
Oh, okay.
And Jordan actually won it as
And
well.
he actually won it.
And I'm glad you brought that up because why isn't he winning it? I mean, LeBron James.
He's not as good defensively.
That's not true because we're talking about a guy in 26.
Jordan beat out Hakeem.
So you're gonna
LeBron
act
lost
like
to
when
Marcus.
LeBron first
Right,
got to the league,
which doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
It's
And
not
I
disingenuous.
don't think that there's any sense that you can make to that because just so you know, Marcus the year that he won Defensive Player of the Year, do you know how many times he made the All-League Defensive Team before that? 0. You know how many times he made the All-League Defensive Team after that? 0. So there's no reason why he should even be in that conversation.
It's a one-year award.
And I'm glad you brought that 1 year up. So we also talking about a guy, LeBron James, who in the 16-17 season finished 5th in Defensive
Do you
Player
think
of
that
the
was
Year.
justified?
Hell yeah, I do. I think it was justified.
In a what year?
2017, when the Cavs were like the 29th ranked defense.
2020 in the 2016-17 season, he finished 5th in Defensive Player of the Year. It's the only time in his career that he finished in the top 5 in the league in Defensive Player of the Year and did not make the All-League Defensive Team. Add that to the fact that the next year in the 2017 season, when he had more steals, more blocks than both Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green, who were on the All-League Defensive Team, and that's the same year that James had the highest defensive rating in his career, yet he did not make the All-League Defensive
We
Team.
sure it was about 2017 or 2018?
2018.
It was in 2018. It was in 2018. It was
The year
in
he
2018.
played 82
So when we're talking
the
about
Cavs
stuff like
defense
that,
going on a
that's
ride
8.
right now,
that,
Dub.
we're talking about stuff like that. That's like 8 or 9 more All-League defensive knowledge that we don't.
I'm gonna be honest. If you think LeBron
It's
was all
not-
defensive caliber in 2018, I don't know what I meant to say.
Not, but even if, let's say hypothetically speaking, because I
That's still
definitely
less
don't
than
think
Jordan.
it still be less than Jordan. A, B.
That was just 2 years that I brought up. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
But B, and more importantly, even if you want to just talk about the game himself, the biggest, and I'm gonna be honest with you, even with me going back and rewatching a lot of LeBron was like way more like as a raw athlete than I like realized.
Yes.
Nowhere near the same jump shot that I thought he had, and especially before he went to Miami. When he went to Miami, low key that 2013 run. This is the perfect definition of like winning bias. If they lost 2013.
That was another bad final.
That was a terrible finals for him because he couldn't make a shot. Anything outside, yeah, he couldn't. But you think you remember otherwise.
Game 7, he could make
Game
a shot.
7
That's what happened.
saves everything. Up until Game 7, he's shooting like 42% from the field, like 31% from the behind the arc. He's not making any free throws. He is genuinely struggling to be productive in that series.
That's
and
fair.
even in the entire postseason run, he's also struggling. Even if you go through his peak from 2011 to 2015 to 2016, most of that postseason runs, he is struggling immensely to find his shot all throughout it while being on some of the most talented rosters in the NBA. And the biggest reason why they lost in 2011 is because of him. I know y'all didn't think I was going to get to that, but I'm here now.
Oh, we have to talk about that.
So in
Absolutely.
2011, the reason why they lost is because of his inadequacies
I agree with
and
that.
his
I agree with that,
inabilities.
right.
There's no rhyme or reason why somebody like J.J. Barea and Jason Kidd should be able to defend him.
I agree.
And I've rewatched that very recently, and genuinely, Jason Kidd is standing in front of LeBron James. That doesn't make any sense, but it's because he can't attack a zone. He can't shoot. He wasn't a good three-point shooter. Even he got to the free throw
Didn't even play out
line.
the post.
Couldn't even play out the post to take advantage of Jason Kidd. Though from a pure basketball standpoint, because you're right, we can remove the accolades.
we can talk about basketball.
If we're talking about
That's what I
strictly
wanna talk about.
basketball, I don't think Jordan has such a deficiency to that extent that could like cost his team series and runs or anything like that, the way that LeBron did in that run. And quite honestly, in a few other series, if the opposing team was just slightly better, if the Eastern Conference was slightly better, then it would have been different because it was very easy to pick apart LeBron's weaknesses, even at his best, even at his absolute best.
Yeah, but I would also push back and say over time though, I think he worked on those deficiencies. Now is he great 3-point shooter now? No, he's a better 3-point shooter than Jordan though.
Free throw shooter.
I said
No, but
3-point
I'm
shooter.
asking you.
No, he's not a better free throw shooter. than
No,
Jordan.
no. Has he
Who's
worked
the-
on free
who's
throw
the better
shooting?
shooter?
I don't think he's not a better shooter than Jordan.
Has he worked on his free throw shooting?
I mean, he probably has, but he's not a good free throw shooter.
Okay.
Not a good free throw shooter.
Okay,
I won't argue that.
in his post game, his mid range shot. Hey, do you think he's really been sufficient enough in that?
I think over time it's gotten quality.
Define quality.
I mean, quality just means it works. Like I think
He's
I
had
think he's
two-
improved his. I think he improved his game over time. Where you say he was a raw athlete, which I agree. I think when LeBron first came into the league, he was just more physically more gifted
Yes.
than everybody else. I won't even deny that. It's almost like Zion-esque. But I do think over time, because of 2011 and things of that nature, I think LeBron knew that I have to expand my game. There's things I have to be able to do in order to win. Like I think when they played Boston in that Game 6 at Boston, I think that was one of the moments where LeBron, you could see the work that he's put in to get to that point. He was his mid-range, his post moves. You could tell that most players, when they have a meltdown like that, they don't always bounce back. Right. That could have been LeBron's absolute fall out the sky.
It could have been.
And he came back. And I think in some ways, being able to come back from adversity also makes you great.
You know, in the next series, he shot 18% from three, right?
But that's my point. Like I think
I didn't say it was a good 3-point shooter.
No, I'm just saying it's inconsistency.
But
like, he can get hot, but
that's the point.
Well, I'm glad you brought up inconsistencies because you brought up a really good point about what LeBron James did. You brought up a really good point about what LeBron James did in the NBA Finals and how in Game 7 and how his game declined. Well, I can rewind the clock back to before Jordan became Air Jordan, when he had hair and they called him Air Jordan. When he was averaging 35 a game against the Detroit Pistons, and that 35 in Game 4, 5, and 6 when they were up in the series against the Detroit Pistons went down from 35 a game to 22 a game. He wasn't blamed for that series, however. Even though if LeBron James had done something like that, LeBron James, they would have said that he choked. And then I can fast forward to the 1992, 1993 Michael Jordan, who I thought that was the best version of him. So we got the Eastern Conference Championship going on, Mars. And when I say we got the Eastern Conference Championship, the Knicks are picked to win this. And Jordan starts the series. He is egregious. He is not giving them anything. It takes a gallant effort from Scottie Pippen in Game 3 for 29 points. Otherwise, they go down 3-0 in that series. And that series is looking really different. And
Not the
then,
game Jordan had a triple-double?
That was the game. I believe he had a triple-double in that game.
This is the game where Chill claims he did nothing but had a triple-double, but then will claim that LeBron
in that Game 7 against Detroit when he had like 14.
Exactly. That's what this game is.
This is that game.
I done peeked onto your style, man. This
is that game, absolutely. And but who do we know Jordan to be? We know Jordan to be an all-around great player. We do know him to be that, but he's also playing with another all-around great player who compounded what he did in terms of his scoring, in terms of his rebounding, in terms of his playmaking. He compounded that. So what Jordan didn't do, he actually did. James, on the other hand, he didn't have that opportunity early. He did not have that opportunity early, and then I can look to I can look to other instances. I mean, I watched Jordan in 1997 against the Miami Heat go 9 for 35 in a game. I mean, if we got LeBron James going 9 for 35,
all-time great defense, Miami Heat, by the way.
All-time great defense, right? Absolutely, and just the same as the Detroit Pistons all-time great defense.
Wait, who? Wait,
it's over.
Who was the all-time great?
Not
06, not 06.
Everybody gets 1 minute to make their closing point.
Who starts?
J-Rock.
Shout out to my glorious king. That's it.
Jesus, they blazing.
That's it.
That's it.
I've never seen a guy. I was a Jordan guy since a kid. I went from Dr. J to Michael Jordan. LeBron James was in year 10 in 2013, and he had 4 league MVPs. He had won the NBA championship 2 years in a row, and I wasn't even interested in having a conversation at that point. It wasn't until 2015, 2016 that I started really paying attention to this guy to make sense of, yo, man, is this guy as good as I think he is? Turns out he was. I've never seen a guy come into the game with that amount of hype, that amount of fanfare, that amount of pressure, and deliver, and continuously deliver without folding and just completely giving up. I've never seen that. And it took me a long time to come to this conclusion, but he's the best that I've ever seen.
Without folding is kind of crazy because, I mean, he folded. But, look, I think LeBron is an amazing player, genuinely. But going back and rewatching a lot of, like, even peak LeBron, the deficiencies are, like, almost alarmingly bad. Now, to be fair to LeBron, he's a highly IQ player, intelligent, so he finds ways around, especially with his passing and playmaking. But when I watch Jordan, he's just like leaps and bounds better than like everybody else on the court when he's playing. And I don't think, as great as LeBron is, I don't think that there's times where I don't think he's leaps and bounds better than everyone else. And even as time progressed, when Scottie Pippen got older, Dennis Rodman got older, they weren't the same players as they once were before. And they're still winning. He's still pushing them to 60-plus wins, even without Scottie Pippen. I think that, to me, is what really swung me back into Jordan and made it even more concrete that I do think Jordan is the greatest of all time.
I think it goes to the fact that not only did LeBron have many deficiencies that teams could counter, Michael Jordan was so much of a great all-around player, but we focus so much on the scoring aspect that we ignore the fact that he was the best playmaker on his team. He probably was one of the best decision makers in the league. He was one of the premier defenders. He did everything so well, but his scoring was so transcendent that we seem to ignore everything else he did at such a high level. And for me, the biggest issue I've always had with LeBron is how everything has to be catered to him. He is the system. You have to put a whole team around him and his strengths and avoid his weaknesses. Get him the spacing. Get him defenders around him. Whereas Michael Jordan has shown time and time again, no matter the system, no matter the situation, he's going to perform. He's going to play without the ball. He's going to play with the ball. He's going to play defense. He's going to run the floor. He's going to play in transition. He's going to play in the half court. He can do so many things for you that you're not stuck in a box of how your team needs to play. And I think that's what elevates Michael Jordan to be the best player that I've ever gone back and watched. And I think he's the best player to ever play. And I think that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
We're each gonna react to everything,
I think
and we're each gonna give our take on what happened.
I gotta say, that was a heck of a debate. I was waiting for the closing argument to really decide, you know, because it was so close throughout the whole time. And he went out there and won 2 versus 1, so I gotta give it to him. He was playing by himself.
No way.
Let me see it. Let me grab the ball real quick. Not gonna hold you. When you go through a whole elaboration about Game 6, Boston Celtics, and then Mars says, you know he shot 18% right after that series, right? Bro, Showtime was going through it alone, brother. He was throwing great arguments, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all two should be embarrassed because Showtime was cooking y'all, bro. I'm not even gonna hold y'all.
Oh, wow.
Y'all losing. Y'all lost to one.
All right. So I don't want to be a follower, but I have to admit, J-Rob. We even had this conversation last night. You were pulling through, but then you lost a little steam. Chill did, in fact, pull the way for you.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is really a roast for me, and I feel like I ain't even saying nothing that crazy. Like, I think this might be a little bit of, you know.
And then, and I do want to shout out.
Like, I think every,
Don't be emotional. It's all right. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I have that.
I just think Chill's arguments are just that great.
I have nothing more to
kind of
say.
diminish my greatness.
That's a wrap.
I ain't gonna diminish your greatness, but that how you introduce LeBron, stop that.
The Glorious King thing. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, see, that's
That's gotta
Yeah, that probably does do me a disservice to start a debate, but
I'm sorry, man. Low tried to fight back, but man, put y'all in that old school headlock and wouldn't let y'all do
gave him a noogie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta go chill. He was cooking.
Ain't even zero anymore. It's just chill.
Hey, what did Jeff Teague say?
Because, can I
I'm
say
not gonna
something?
lie, Lo. You was rebuttaling heavy.
You don't have the pill.
Heavy.
Oh, my bad. You're right. Oh, you gotta respect the pill, bro.
So-
You gotta respect the pill.
So I do want to say, Lo, there was a moment there where you started regain some traction. But you know what Jay did? He kept his voice low, and everybody went silent and listened in, and he commanded respect in that moment. But Lo, you were right there too. Mars, you're just a stat guy, so I lost it. But
Word.
Can I
Oh,
touch that pill right quick? I'm looking up the Cavs 2007 roster right here on this phone. We clearly know who LeBron James is. I'm trying to figure out if you're Larry Hughes, if you're Zajunas.
Nah, I'm like who's like the 15th guy on the bench. That's what I want to be.
Now you ain't that bad.
Eric Snow.
I ain't gonna lie.
be Sasha
I don't
Pavlovich.
think I'm that bad either, but I do think these two and Dub, they got this idea that like I don't watch NBA games, but because I don't agree with how they
never
talk
even
about ball.
said
You
that.
don't,
LeBron.
but you don't though.
I do watch NBA games though. I just don't agree with what you say.
You don't.
I don't even know what I want.
I just
Lo, you
think
don't even
Chill was carrying you. That's what.
He was, but I thought he did phenomenal. But Lo, stop saying that. You don't know.
No, you watch Lakers games.
Yo,
I watch
fellas,
everybody.
fellas,
Like,
all in all, I want to say,
you just
what
talking.
Chilltown just did,
Like,
it was
you
like
watch more YouTube videos than me.
it was like
I
LeBron
watch
winning in 2007.
real NBA games just as much as you.
Yes.
I
LeBron
just don't
just beat
agree
the
with you.
Spurs. I don't know if you kind of look like Tony Parker, so we'll go with Tony Parker, and obviously you're Tim Duncan.
Boris Diaw.
But chill, what you just did is
You Boris Diaw.
you just beat them in Game 7, and so I gotta
Glazing
give it to
is
your Glorious
crazy
King.
right now.
They're praising him because he had no team.
Yeah,
That's what's happening.
They're
praising
praising
him
him because he had no teammates. That's
What did I
basically
say that
what
was not wrong about LeBron though?
No, I'm just
Every
saying
point I
that
made about Bron
Chill
was-
made great points. But they're praising him
What
because
bad point did I make
Hold
about
on.
Bron though?
I would like to
Tell me one
say.
untruth I said about LeBron.
I would like to say.
Before. I think he's just biased because it's me.
No, you just said a bunch of stuff that
Chill. That's what I'm talking about.
That was nice.
Thank you, bro.
We not have to do that.
Yo.
Like they make sure it's specifically not in frame.
Okay.
Not really.
Hey, can we have somebody throw low the ball right when it starts?
No, that's a bad.
Athletic to
That was-
grab it, catch it.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, but if he doesn't catch it and then drops out the chair and then all of a sudden he has a
No, I-
Have hands. Actually,
It's
have some
cool.
hands,
We want to
bro.
add a little flair.
No, that's a,
You want no to suffer for content.
I'll come
We'll
throw
throw
it
it
to
to chill.
low.
We'll throw it to chill then, because
Hey,
we can
Mars.
trust him with the ball in his
Yes.
hands.
Okay. Should I
You can
go?
throw it to chill and then chill
Okay.
or pass it to low.
Yeah.
Bring the ball over here. We throw it to y'all, so then y'all can
Stop
start.
trying to be a part of it.
No. Shut up, Mars. We're already here. We're
Yo.
already here.
Can somebody throw low the ball?
Yes.
no,
behind the
that is-
camera.
That is corny. What?
From behind the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Is that gonna hit the mic though?
Yeah.
I gotta pull with this.
I'm
Mo
not-
just
it's
don't
not
want.
my
Yo,
channel.
that's
don't
what
think
we
we
do.
should start with
Somebody
that.
throwing low the ball.
It's not my channels, but hey, whatever.
You sure you're not gonna hit the mic when you throw it? This is not working.
You get real loud when you next to low. You know that, right?
Huh?
You get real loud when you next to low. I mean, Mars.
Yo, come on, let's go though. Let's go. We got a limited amount
Sad,
of time.
bro.
Y'all can debate
what did
next
you want with that?
or fight.
What reaction did you expect?
Nah, I just want you to know that.
Okay. This guy Mars.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, I hate Mars. Well, it's only when it's only
His point right now, or you hate Mars?
I just hate Mars right now because he acting up in front of the camera.
He mad because he lost his boyfriend.
Oh, I lost my boyfriend.
Yeah, what you saying? Like,
Yeah, I'm a
more,
jealous
like,
dude,
low,
bro.
Like low took
Wait, who are
him?
you losing to?
I get to look.
Oh, you moved on quick.
Low booked
Yeah,
before
bro.
his chick.
He had more money. She hopped in the Lambo.
Hey, be like that.
He had the Honda, bro.
Yeah, he got a belly, so he says, "Yo, let me go with a little more." Now that he got that, you know,
He feeding me, right? Feeding him.
that's crazy. Yeah, I was never feeding Mars like that. You
Are
crazy?
you typing him too? Damn, that felt like a
Boo!
Yo, this chill versus low debate is really intense. These other brothers can take a nap.
I'm not gonna hold you.
He can sleep on the ball right now.
They can just sleep on each other's afro. Let me use your afro for a pillow, and then we'll switch. And then we'll flip-flop.
I feel like we can't judge LeBron until he play with Scottie
When
Pippen.
it comes to like the finals, I wouldn't think that they would beat.
That's how you feel. He had
I
D-Wade.
mean, I wouldn't think the Jazz would beat them just
D-Wade
because
better.
I'm definitely.
But
yeah,
he's not
but it's the same
Scottie
about with LeBron. Like,
D-Wade's not
oh
my God.
But you're saying D-Wade's better than Scottie Pippen?
I'm being a troll.
You're
I'm just being a troll. That's the number one argument.
That's my
Are y'all kidding me?
So at this point,
There's no
I
way.
don't want to see nobody else until they play with Scottie Pippen.
We can't.
Is that? Wait, are you saying it's a negative or a positive?
No. So obviously the number one knock for Jordan, right? When we bring up all of these accolades. Oh, Jordan wasn't good until he got Scottie Pippen. Even though he had seasons, 9 seasons before that where he was a bucket. They called him the Black Cat.
I think the one thing about the
Which
Jordan
was
era too, that people
crazy.
For him to be not always
y'all
Pippen
act like
and Jordan just like separate
wasn't getting
Jordan.
either.
Because I feel like Jordan still was gonna be great with or without Pippen. Like, I mean, Pippen
as good.
complimented him well. Yes, but
LeBron moved too much to ever have like a number two like that. Or,
Or
like consistent one.
yeah, true.
Well, and Cleveland failed to give him that. Too.
His career, Jordan's career, in terms of like his career.
I'm disrespecting D-Wade, man.
I'm not disrespecting.
No, I
Dominant, people are winning on
I'm in agreement in the logic of everything, but I'm just talking about how everybody debates.
Nobody talks. I mean, the 6 rings. Nobody talks about.
We gotta see him with
Jordan's
Pippen.
taking time off.
Yeah,
Can't
AD.
come,
Crazy
go back,
take.
come
Yeah,
and go
Wade,
back.
AD.
People have won in the 90s.
I totally
The
agree.
Rockets, they won 2.
But
so I
they
just
bring
feel
up
like
Pippen.
ultimately. Yeah, but I'm just saying, people
That's what
also
everybody
dominate
brings
during
up.
Jordan's
Who's
era.
better,
Jordan
AD
just
or
didn't
Pippen?
clear house, but them
Of course, AD is better.
were a big deal.
But
I'm not gonna
everybody's
disrespect
gonna
that.
hold
But
Pippen.
Man, winning a 1v2 is crazy.
It's the only time in his career that he finished in the top 5 in the league in defensive player of the year and did not make those. 31%.
Talking about the championship that they won?
Miami.
They won.
I was cooking right now because all of that was facts. I checked that shit too. I did check that. Dang.
That got ugly quick.
I'm not gonna lie.
He fought
I'm
back.
not gonna lie.
Fought back.
Hey, Lo put his hands up like, hell nah.
But that's my point. Like I think that's.
I didn't say he was going to keep him.
Bro, knew that was gonna happen. I was just waiting for it. He said that whole thing, bro. Mark just killed him with 2 words. That's crazy. He should have talked about Cleveland and what he did in that Cleveland offense, bro. Because I'm not gonna lie, LeBron in Cleveland he was balling, bro. He was balling. That shit was wild.
I even admit, if you go back and watch it, them first 7 years of Cleveland, LeBron was like not from this planet.
Oh, athletic.
Yeah, like how he played and everything. He was pulling threes from the logo and everything. Like LeBron,
I remember that.
really was playing outside his mind. Like
He was like that. Now we're used to it. But back
I
then,
think we got numb.
we got numb to it.
Scottie Pippen.
Exactly.
Even though it's still there.
Scottie Pippen.
He's looking really different. And then he's the best that I've ever seen.
Without forwarding, it's kind of crazy. But look, I think LeBron is an amazing player, genuinely. But going back and watching a lot of even peak LeBron, the efficiencies are almost alarmingly bad. And to be fair to LeBron, he's a highly IQ player, intelligent. So you find with LeBron, especially his passing and playmaking. When I watch Jordan, he's just like leaps and bounds better than like everybody else on the court he's playing. And I don't think as great as LeBron is, I don't think that there's times where I don't think he's leaps and bounds better than everyone else. And even as time progressed, when Scottie Pippen got older, Dennis Rodman got older, they weren't.
I got good hands though, but I can't.
I have huge hands for a
Still
girl.
winning.
I have my mom's.
60+ wins, even without Scottie Pippen. I think that to me is what really
A big hand, big ass hand.